What's up, Raptor fans and Raptorscope watchers? It's me, A-Dubs again, and we're here to talk about the Cavs game that they just played against the Toronto Raptors. We won another one. It's 8 in a row and 12 out of our last 13 games. If you're watching this and you want to see more, please follow and subscribe on whichever platform you're watching on. And if you like the stuff I'm saying, please light up the like button. The Raptors won this game 110-99. This is a potential playoff matchup. This is a Eastern Conference rival. We've played the Cavs 3 times this season and we've beat them each time. It's a pretty good step to take as we, I believe, lost all 4 of our games against them last season. They swept the series against us. They were the top seed and they did have all of their starters. Tonight, again, they didn't have all of their starters. They were missing Jared Allen, their center, and they were missing Darius Garland. We are also missing RJ Barrett, who hurt himself last night in the first half of the back-to-back with a non-contact injury. We don't know the severity of it yet. We had one pretty standout game tonight from Brandon Ingram, our premium scorer. He had 37 points tonight, which came after a night that he didn't do so well in terms of scoring. He had a pretty bad shooting night against the Brooklyn Nets last night. We still won the game, rallied around Ingram, and picked up the slack, especially at the end of the game. Jamal Shed seems to be the guy that they go to in winning time. Whatever lineup they put in at the end of the game, he seems to be a part of it, and it seems to be working. Whether teams aren't reading the scouting reports or they're just not ready for what he does for our team. Last night, we went on a 10-0 run to end the game, and Jamal Shed had a lot to do with that. So tonight, he also did pretty well. As I said, that's becoming a trend. Another standout stat from him off the bench is one that I like, which is a plus-minus of +14, which ties for leading the team with our starting power forward, Scotty Barnes. So I'll get into the matchups that we'll be looking at today. I had to basically mix and match the point guard and shooting guard matchups because our shooting guard, RJ Barrett, is injured, and the Cavs point guard, Darius Garland, is injured. I mixed and matched that matchup, just guard versus guard, because Donovan Mitchell does play a bit of point guard from time to time. They did have Lonzo Ball fill in for Darius Garland again, but coming off the bench, that's not necessarily a fair matchup. And I'm going to start rating Immanuel Quickley against these starting star guards, just out of the fact that he's been playing at a high level, and I'm hoping that we can expect that from him on a regular basis. With all that out of the way, the matchups will be Immanuel Quickley versus Donovan Mitchell, as well as Scotty Barnes versus Evan Mobley. We're only doing 2 matchups tonight, and we're going to show some love to a couple of the Raptor players that were key to the win tonight, aside from the matchups. We'll start with Immanuel Quickley, who hit 5 of 14 shots for 11 points on 35.7% shooting. He hit only 1 3-pointer. He didn't shoot so well tonight, but it seemed like he was part of the team effort to contain Donovan Mitchell, who I think popped off on the first half of their back-to-back last night. So aside from the 11 points and the 3-pointer, he had 6 rebounds, 1 stock in the form of a steal. His assist to turnover ratio was 3.5. He had 7 assists, which is pretty good. Not too many turnovers, which is what he's been pretty steady with all season as the co-ball handler with Scotty Barnes. Lastly, he had a plus-minus of +11. And I have to say, the Raptors really did play a lot of team defense this game, as well as team rebounding. A problem they were having some of the earlier games of the season was not getting those defensive rebounds and allowing teams to get the offensive rebounds and have another chance to score. Sometimes 3 or 4 chances, which is just too much. It's really hard to defend 3 or 4 chances at one shot at the basket, and you usually end up eventually giving up the basket. Kudos to the Raptors for playing a lot of team-oriented basketball today. You can see them being very unselfish when it came to those types of things. On to Donovan Mitchell, who hit 6 of 20 shots for 17 points on 30% shooting. He also hit 3 3-pointers, but that's 3 of 12 3-point shots. That's 25% 3-point shooting. One more, I guess, makes a lot of difference if he hits it, but at the same time, if you're going to take 12, that's a lot to take and miss. He missed 9 3-point shots. That's a ton. He also had 1 rebound, an assist to turnover ratio of 4, 1 stock. I'm just going to give this matchup to Immanuel Quickley. The numbers aren't too different. Quickley is a rebounding guard, so he did get more rebounds. And they both shot badly, but Donovan still shot worse. I think the team defense that they were playing against him really was effective tonight. So we'll move on. Quickley definitely wins that matchup. So the next matchup we'll do is Scotty Barnes versus Evan Mobley. Scotty Barnes hit 8 of 13 shots for 18 points on 61.5% shooting. He didn't hit any 3-pointers tonight, but he did have 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 stock opposed to last night's 6 stocks, and a nasty 4 turnovers. The Cavs were playing pretty tight defense as well, and Scottie could have avoided a couple of these turnovers, but he ended up being a bit careless in my opinion on a couple of them. He could have avoided them in my opinion, but neither team really took good care of the ball this game, and it canceled each other out. Scottie Barnes had a team high of a plus 14 plus minus. So Scottie came out with a double-double tonight. They were doing a lot of team rebounding, a lot of boxing out, and making sure that the other team didn't get a second chance at a basket. It did happen a couple times, but it wasn't excessive, so that was good. So let's move on to Evan Mobley now, who hit 5 of 7 shots for 14 points on 71% shooting. He hit 2 3-pointers and had 5 rebounds. No stocks. 1 stock, a block, an assist to turnover ratio of 1-to-1. He basically matched Scottie Barnes' turnovers, and it canceled out the 4 that Scottie had. And as you can see, he had 4 and Scottie had 6 assists. That'll definitely do some of the canceling out. So looking at the rest of the numbers in this matchup and the result of the game, I got to give this matchup to Scottie Barnes. He just outplayed Evan Mobley tonight on a night that, in my opinion, was a night where both teams had something to prove. The Raptors being an up-and-coming team, and last year the Cavs being the #1 seed and having a lot of the same players but a lot of injuries. If they could have put us away tonight and overtaken us into the second spot, then that would say a lot for them going later into the season when they do eventually get back Jared Allen and Darius Garland. This is sort of like one of the games we played when we first started winning, when we were playing teams that weren't so strong, whether it be by injury or just the fact that they're rebuilding or whatever the case. That those are the type of teams that we just have to put away if we're serious about being a successful team this season. So once again, kudos to the Raptors for playing a mature veteran game. Even though we're a pretty young team, I think we're one of the youngest teams in the NBA, we got to do some calculating without Garrett Temple in the mix. I spent time thinking about how tight I thought the Raptors would have to play this game to win, but I really didn't think about how tight the Cavs might have to play to win against us, and that seemed to be the story that played out tonight. During the first half, we really had a long stretch of back and forth. The Cavs had the lead for quite a while until the very end of the second quarter when the Raptors went on a run, and it was the Cavs that were making mistakes. And then I realized that they were going through their own struggles, and it really seemed like it was going to be up to us whether we could pull it together and win the game. That run to end the second quarter was a 13-2 run or a 7-0 run, however you want to look at it. And personally, I thought the Raptors pretty much had it in the bag just by the way that the Cavaliers looked tired, probably from their back-to-back, but a lot more tired than we looked. A lot of the time in the second and third quarter, even the fourth, the defense was fluctuating between pretty good defense and stifling defense, and it was amazing. It was amazing to watch them gel so seamlessly and continuously do it and wait until the other team made mistakes. Shout out to the coaching staff, obviously to Darko, for just putting the right guys out during winning time and getting those results, and the guys who are put out there, including Jamal Shed. We're gonna do one more matchup, which is not really a matchup. It's just showing some love to the star player of the game and the player who's come through at winning time in the background, Jamal Shed and Brandon Ingram, not in that order. So Brandon Ingram hit 15 of 30 shots for 37 points on 50% shooting. Coming after a night where he only scored 14 points, he already had 17 points in the first half, so we knew it was going to be a big night early. He also had 7 rebounds, 1 stock, an assist to turnover ratio of atrocious, but it's okay because he scored 37 points. 0.5. He had 2 assists and 4 turnovers, but he was handling the ball a lot and the other team swarms him. That's what they got to do to stop him from scoring, and he coughed it up a couple times when they were all over him, but that's fine because he drained buckets the rest of the time. His plus minus was tied for the second highest on the team. His counterpart in this matchup, which again isn't really a matchup, is Jamal Shed, who had a plus minus of plus 14, which tied Scottie Barnes for the highest plus minus in the game, and coming off the bench at that. So let's go through Jamal Shed and the damage that he did off the bench, which was shooting 75% of his shots shots, hitting one of his 2 3-pointers. He didn't get any rebounds, but that's not his job. 1 stock in the form of a steal, an assist to turnover ratio of 7 because he had 7 assists and only 1 turnover. Off the bench, that's really, really good. And his plus minus, as I said before, was a plus 14. Jamal Shedd's really showing to be such a great addition to the team and definitely an extremely strong depth piece. He plays so many minutes with Emmanuel quickly, but I think it's plain to see that he can handle himself, and he's been doing it in the times that we've needed it, and Raptor fans are definitely noticing. I'm sorry, man, I wasn't familiar with your game. It looks like we found out who the real Eastern Conference bullies are. That would be until we play the actual first seed in the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons. But we're still on an 8-game winning streak, 12 out of the last 13. We're playing the Pacers next, and they are one of our past victims, and I think that's gonna be the case repeated again. All right, Raptor fans, like, subscribe, follow on whatever platform you're on. I'm A-Dubs. I'll see you after the Pacers game. I have a good one. Peace out.